Now we're live. And we can start. Just tell us more about who you are and your expertise.
Okay, so my name's Brianna Jenkins. Most of the times you'll hear people say just Bree or like Bree Jenkins. It's very rare that somebody say Brianna unless it's something like professional. But I'm originally from Charleston. I lived in Charleston basically up until I was 18. I came here in 2013 to attend college. I went to Allen University, very small private college in the middle of downtown Columbia, and there I got my bachelor's of arts in social science. And I had a professor that really was pushing for minorities like African Americans to go to grad school, and that USC was one of the top social work programs. At that time, I knew that I wanted to do something along the lines of social work, but I wasn't sure of what. So I applied. He helped me out the whole way, and I ended up getting in. Me and another one of my classmates, we ended up getting into the program, which is very rare because out of the whole program, there's probably like 10 Black students in the whole program. So it was pretty cool. So going there straight after college was a pretty cool experience. It was diverse. Just coming from HBCU and then going to a PWI was very diverse from the class sizes to the class. It was very unique, but it was a way to adjust, a way to adapt, especially with working in the field now, like having to adapt and change around. So I was there for 2 years. I graduated with a master's in social work, also a certificate degree in drug and addiction studies. So with that, I went into work at social services. I recently was a case manager. I recently got a new job, still with the department, but at something different now. I'm doing child and family team meetings, which kind of we facilitate group meetings with parents that kind of help address like the concerns, their strengths, their weaknesses with their child and helping get back on track. I have some experience with DJJ. With juveniles, one of the best internships that I've ever had, and I've also had experience with the organization called the DAC, which is the Domestic Abuse Center. It's a batterers intervention program that works with people who have DV charges or DV cases. So I have a plethora of background from that, and then also kind of just volunteering and serving the community. I have a plethora of different things that I've done throughout the years. So Columbia's been home since 2013. I love it. I love it here. So that's just a little bit about me.
And that's great. And I love how you said like your community outreach and that that expertise, that heart for the community, that education with drug abuse, DJJ, correct?
Mhm. Yeah.
And so that kind of, I know that you have Feeding Finlay, your nonprofit, and just knowing that knowledge as a whole and then learning about your expertise, that just like, that's a full package, they will say, right?
Right, right. It's like, oh, okay, she's done a little bit of everything.
I agree. And then like, just tell us more about that vision, starting Feeding Finlay.
Okay, so feeding Finley, I actually was a part of this service fraternity at USC called Alpha Phi Omega, and
Mhm.
it initially started there. Like we would go out and we would have these service days where we would just go out and feed, not even just feed, but different service opportunities. And one of them was going into the homeless part. I mean, into Finley Park, and just even with that, um as the pandemic started to peak back in March when it started to get serious, um, I don't know. I just had woke up one day and was like, I wonder what's going on that way. Are people still, feeding? Because there was one point where you could there are days where there was not a single day where people weren't at Finley Park serving the homeless. Like whether it was hygiene kits, whether it was food and water, whether it was clothes, like there was always an organization or a group of people out there. There was never a day where they would lack. And I just figured without that happening, what was happening down there? Like what were they doing? How were they getting their needs met? And I just had like this heart to go. And back in May of 2020 of last year, I gathered a few people to head out there with me, and we were small in number, but we were able to just get a lot done. And after that, it just took off. It became something that was like a need. It was like a push, a fire behind it. And eventually, I decided a couple months later just to go legit, kind of like not doing it, just, doing it free will, which is fine with me. But like, let's make it legit. Let's make it a thing. Let's make it consistent. And let's just go for it.
That's great. And small in number, but mighty in power,
Yes, yes.
providing that impact. And so just tell us more. And I know you spoke about how it was just daily tasks, but you wanted to make it legit. So you wrote down that vision and you made it plain. What was that process?
It was hard. I struggled, just being transparent. I struggle with a lot of not feeling enough, or like the lack of being able to get stuff done. And I was a part of Pastor Jackie's vision of the first initial permission room, the beta group, which at that time she was testing it out, and I was a part of that group. And as each week progressed, I found myself just peeling back layers, becoming more vulnerable, becoming more transparent, but like just walking into like freedom. And she played a big part in helping me become free. But also, Crystal Nesbitt, depending on the day, she's my sister, my mentor, my spiritual mom. It just depends on the day. But she really pushed me too to just walk it out. And a lot of other people contributed too. But I would say the two of them really contributed with the vision of just being free, like doing what you're called to do and just walking it out. And even with PJ saying free people, I just took everything that I learned in permission room and the things that Crystal would help, reaffirm. And I just feeding Finley was like, it was like, it's time. Like, that's it. It's time. Like, just do it. And I did it. I had the push to just go for it. So
Yeah.
it was tough. It was tough. I struggled because it started in May, and I didn't get the LLC until September. So if you think about it, that's like what, 5 months, 4 months. It took a minute, but I eventually, got on the ball, stepped out of fear, and just did it anyway.
Yeah, you look, and I had the opportunity to volunteer with you in November. So that was truly an amazing opportunity, and I'm excited for that. And how can, viewers volunteer and support Feeding Finley?
So, for this month of January, we have a feeding, but we're using this month to reset for the year. On my website, feedingfinley.org, that's feedingfinley with the A.org. I have my dates listed out for January all the way through October. So there's opportunities there. We have a couple of drives that we're excited about running this year. We're gonna do one per quarter. So we have 4 drives that we're running. And also, you volunteered during Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. We already have the lineup for 2021, and I'm super, super, super excited. Super dope. So they found out here exclusively that's already up. It's ready to go. We're just getting that stuff ready. We have merch dropping at the top of February that we're super excited about. More merch. They can volunteer. I mean, they can donate through I have an Amazon wish list, which is on my website. We also have PayPal, we have Cash App. But honestly, even if it's not monetary, we love to have people come out and donate. I mean, serve, volunteer. Look really good. So there are multiple ways you can get involved, even if it's just a message of, "Hey, we're just thinking about you," or "We're super excited about what's going on." Like even stuff like that is a contribution, in my opinion. Simple as that.
Anything counts.
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
so we're going to switch now. And so we are in 2021.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the word for the entire year?
So I'm really on this all-in kit that PT has been giving us. But
Yeah.
even with that, kind of like I explained with just last year, I think my word for this year is obedience. Towards the end of the year, I began to just kind of do what the Father has wanted me to do. But this year, it's kind of like you don't get to turn it on and off. Like, no, you're gonna be obedient throughout the whole year. Like if I say it, if it's affirmed over you, then you stand on my word. Like that's what you stand on. So I think for me, my word would just be obedience, like just to be obedient. And when we are obedient, we have faith, we're consistent, we're confident, and we walk in what we're called to do. So
Okay.
definitely obedience.
And everything just falls into place.
Right. Right.
Everything. Would you like to share any more information that was not previously asked or anything?
Um, I don't know.
It's all
Was that all the questions on your paper on your thing?
yeah, but we can dive in more.
Yep,
Tell us more about what do you hope for the future? If it's feeding Finley,
I
or
do.
um,
I had someone in December just tell me like things are gonna happen. Things for feeding family are gonna happen. It's gonna be really big. One of the things she told me was opportunities are gonna come up, and when they come up, don't be surprised. And of course, even when they did come up, I was surprised. So it was like,
so good.
oh, really? But no, one thing that she prophesied over me was that somebody was gonna call me about a building. Somebody's gonna call me about a space. And when they call you, don't be surprised. Go look at the space. So I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
okay. So literally a couple of days ago I was having a conversation with a friend, and I was telling her about like, I'm gonna start looking into spaces just because with 6 a.m. prayer, I had been boosting my faith and just believing him for the things that people have been coming to me and saying, or just for things he said to me. So we get in the conversation. She goes, that's funny. I thought about you the other day because my aunt and uncle are selling this house or this space, and they asked me if I knew anybody who could utilize it. And I'm just like, okay, God.
Wow.
Okay. I'm like, okay. Then that's not even the scary part. So I began looking up places. I began looking up places in Midlands. I
Mhm.
got a call yesterday from a realtor about this property on Lady Street in the Midlands downtown, less than a mile from the park. And he was like, "Hey, I just wanted to call and give you this address and see if you had any questions about this space." I'm like, okay, we're back at it again. So I was like, okay. So right now, I'm just praying and believing for a space. And even with the space, it's just gonna be an opportunity for us to I call it like a stop and shop, but it's not a price on it. So basically my house right now is headquarters for Feed and Finley. Everything. My garage is a Feed and Finley headquarters. So I have clothes on top of clothes and shoes and food and equipment and stuff. And just with that, for them to be able to come in if they need clothes, get clothes, they'll be able to pick it out. If they have job interviews, we would help with filling out the applications and even getting them there. If they need to take a shower or wash up, like we provide stuff like that and provide meals. So I'm just looking to expand in 2021. Just the vision of feeding is one thing, but what's the long term goal, which is kind of like you don't want to keep feeding them and keep eating them, but you want to get them out. So, what steps do we take to help give them like stability and home security and stuff like that? So that's something big that I've been kind of pitching to my team and that we've been working on. I'm gonna go look at these spaces because that's what God said.
Yeah,
That's what we do. So I'm excited just to see how this year plays out. Um, just with the space and just with feeding family as a whole, like just to see it expand and just walking into like whatever he says, just walking into it. So that's something different, new.
I'm excited. That's like obedience, then to expand, and
Yes.
just steps. I I'm excited for what's in store. So we left off what you were talking about. How do you balance with being a boss, a business owner, with self love?
So where did I start? Oh, as I was saying, No Church November. I'm not sure if you watched the series, but there was a therapist on there, Ashley Young. I've been seeing her for a year. I go weekly. She has really played a part with just helping reminding me of self-care and self-love. And it's okay to have all these things lined up, but make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Mhm.
So that's been a great journey. I usually work by day and feed and Finley by night or by weekend, however, but no, I wholeheartedly believe that if you have a passion for something, it doesn't matter what time it is, it can be 2 a.m., it can be 3 a.m., you're gonna get it done just because your heart is in it, you have the passion for it. So I don't put a time stamp on feeding Finley. I put a time stamp on work, 5 o'clock. That's it. But everything else, it's just some days I have the fire to just go at it. Like yesterday was kind of like a feeding Finley day. Like, let's get the stuff done. Let's get all these projects out. So um it has been a struggle, but it has grace. He's graced me for it,
Yeah,
and it's been super. It's been good. As long as I remember to just focus. So
that's good. I'm so happy. And let's say thank you so much for your time.
thank you.
Continue just in the middle of it, but I truly am. Thank you for saying about grace as well. It social media. You anybody can follow you. Your social media handles, a good
Yes.
website.
We have feedingfinley with the a.org.
Mhm.
You can follow us on Instagram at Feeding Finley. We'll also have a Facebook page coming at the end of this month. And it'll be Feeding Finley dash DT Columbia for downtown Columbia, just because sometimes, it can make lost in the sauce, but it's all there. You can email us at feedingfinley@gmail.com with any questions, concerns, ideas. We love to collab with people. We love to partner. And we believe that there's enough room for everybody to do anything. So we love it. So
Yeah.
thank you for the time.
Yes, thank you. If you can just send me over your bio and two pictures. And that will be great because I'm excited for this opportunity for where God is going to lead both of us. My word for 2020 is definitely go, and just go with it, go with the flow.
Just go. Yes, I love it.